Hello. Today we're going to talk about the zombie-like lives of the sheeple. Okay, this is from an article written by Pao Chang in April of last year, and this is from Humans Are Free website. All right. To understand the zombie-like lives of the sheeple, we need to first investigate the word sheeple, so we know what it means. According to Merriam-Webster.com, the word sheeple means people who are docile, compliant, or easily influenced, people likened to sheep. This word is derived from the combination of the words sheep and people. In many ways, sheeple are people who are naive and lack critical thinking skills, and obediently follow orders because they are too afraid to question their so-called authorities. This article will show you proof that most people are acting like sheeple and are far from being awake. Why sheeple are properties of the state are in a daze. The zombie-like lives of sheeple begin on the day they are born. Shortly after sheeple are born, their parental sheeple give them a name and register them to the state using a birth certificate. The sad thing that parental sheeple do not know is that the birth certificate is the legal document used by the state to trick them to abandon their babies or lambs, allowing the government to claim their babies, lambs, as chattels, personal properties. It also allows the government to transfer their babies, lambs, to the land of the dead, legal fiction, turning their babies, lambs, into dead entities in the eyes of the law. Hence, the name in all capital letters on their Social Security cards and driver's licenses. The name in all caps letters is the same all caps written on the gravestones. What sheeple do not know about governments is that nearly all of them have been incorporated and thereby are legal fictions. In the United States, incorporated, the U.S. government is a foreign corporation with respect to the state of the United States of America, the unincorporated. For evidence of this, read this article. In the article, there is a sentence that says, "The United States government is a foreign corporation with respect to a state." There's a link to that article in here. Most, if not all, sheeple have been brainwashed so bad that they can actually think that governments are living entities and have power over them. There is no government that is living in reality because there's no living man or woman who is the government itself. Check my screen there for a second. Okay. There are only men and women acting as agents for the government. Sheeple wake up in the morning thinking they are awake, but they do not realize that they are actually in a daze, which etymologically means to become weary. The word weary is derived from the Old English word werig, meaning tired, exhausted, miserable, sad. As for the word awake, it secretly means a night watch for the dead. The evidence of this can be seen when you use the word magic to decipher the word awake. When you move the first letter A from the word awake to a space to the left, you get the term wake. According to dictionary.com, the word wake means a watch or vigil by the body of a dead person before burial, sometimes accompanied by feasting or merrymaking. Another word you need to investigate, using the art of word magic, in the previous paragraph, is mourning. Phonetically, the word mourning sounds like the word mourning, meaning the act of a person who mourns, sorrowing, or lamentation, or the conventional manifestation of sorrow for a person's death, especially by the wearing of black clothes or black armband, the hanging of flags at half-mast, etc. What do sheeple do at a wake? They mourn the dead wearing black clothes. Why do sheeple mourn the dead? They mourn the dead because they're in a daze and feeling weary. Remember, the word weary is derived from the Old English word werig, meaning tired, exhausted, miserable, and sad. To help ease the weariness, some sheeple give money to the family of the dead. But what they do not realize is that so-called money that they give is called legal tender, which is a deceptive way of saying debt. Phonetically, the word debt sounds like the word dead. All debts are fictitious because they are created by banks, which are corporations, also legally known as artificial persons. In other words, all legal debts are created for the dead, legal fiction. Why do you think sheeple bury their money in the bank? Sheeple bury their so-called money because it is dead, debt. The sins of the sheeple. One of the worst debts that sheeple have is called a mortgage. What sheeple do? What they don't know about the word mortgage is that it secretly means a pledge to the dead. To find evidence of this, you need to use the etymological dictionary in the art of wordplay to decipher the word mortgage. When you split the word mortgage into two words, it transforms into the term mort-gage. Keep in mind that the word mortgage is derived from two Old French words, which are mort and gage. In the Old French, mort means dead and gage means pledge. The word pledge comes from the Old French pléger, meaning to promise. Dictionary.com defines pledging using these exact words: a solemn promise or agreement to do or refrain from doing something. Based on the etymological definition of mort and gage, the term mortgage can be translated as a pledge to the dead. All legal debts are for the dead, which is why the word debt can mean sin. Hence the Bible verse in Romans 6:23, for the wages of sin is death. This is getting more and more interesting as it twists. Sin is debt, dead, death. To find evidence that the word debt can mean sin, go to Merriam-Webster.com and search for the definition of debt, D-E-B-T, and you should see the word sin as one of its definitions. The word sin is derived from the Old English word sin, S-Y-N-N, meaning moral wrongdoing, injury, mischief, enmity, feud, guilt, crime, offense against God, misdeed. Deep down, sheep will feel bad for all of the debts and sins that they created. So many of them go to church to see if they can find God and hope that God will forgive them for their sins, debts. What sheep do not know is that nearly all churches throughout the world have been incorporated and thereby are corporations. To make matters worse, nearly all clergies, pastors, priests, and ministries do not know the secret knowledge of the Bible. How many clergies do you know that have the knowledge and courage to teach sheeple that the true church or temple of God is within them? That is true. You are the temple. There's no need for a temple. In this lifetime, I've never met one of you. To make matters even worse, sheeple baptize their babies, lambs, thinking that this external act will free their babies and lambs from original sin. External baptism will not free their babies and lambs from original sin. It's Babylonian. How do I know this? Because if it did free them from original sin, they would be immortal and not die. To be free from original sin is to be free from death. External baptism is nothing more than a dark magic spell designed to deceive parental sheeple to give up their babies' bodies and souls to the Antichrist and false gods of the false church. I'm going to disagree with him there and add, baptism is just plain old resurrection of Tammuz, who became Baal and went to the sun after 3 days on winter solstice. That's what baptism represents. It's Baal worship. Unlike external baptism, internal baptism is a holy process that occurs within the body, not outside of it. Like the government, the church is also a fictitious entity. In other words, it is an invisible body. The evidence of this can be seen in the definition of the word parson. According to the Law Dictionary, Tomlin's, the word parson means one that hath full possession of all the rights of a parochial church. He's called the parson, persona, because by his person the church, which is an invisible body, is represented, and he is in himself a body corporate. In order to protect and defend the rights of the church, which he personates by a perpetual succession. Esoterically, the word church means body. In other words, the temple of the church of God is man's physical body, or male or female. To be more specific, it is true, the true temple, church of God. As a result of that, all external churches, buildings, are false churches. Now we're getting somewhere. The corporate life of sheeple. Nearly every morning, especially during the weekday or weekdays, millions, if not billions of sheeple throughout the world go to work at corporations, which can be abbreviated as corpse. Phonetically, the word corpse sounds similar to the word corpse, which is defined as a dead body, usually of a human being. An artificial person or legal entity created by or under the authority of the laws of a state. An artificial person is considered dead in the eyes of the law and thereby can be defined as corpse. Hence, the word corporation, corpse. You can also find the word corps, C-O-R-P-S, in the term Marine Corps. In law, all military personnel are considered dead and thereby have no natural rights, which is why government superiors order them around like dogs and make them wear dog tags. To ease the pain of working at a corporation, most people are given a break during the weekend because they are weakened. They need the weekend because they're weakened. This guy's funny. Besides the weekend, sheeple like to celebrate yearly parties so they do not have to think about their dead-end jobs. One of these yearly parties, commonly known as a birthday, What sheeple do not understand about a birthday is that it's a ritual for celebrating the birth of a corpse, which is a dead body. Some of the evidence of this can be seen in legal definitions from the word birth. Interesting fact you need to know about the word birth is it can mean a stillbirth. In New Zealand, the interpretation of births, deaths, marriages, and relationships defines the word birth using these exact words. Includes a stillbirth. An important word you need to investigate in the previous definition is include in law. When the word include is used as an expression or definition of legal matter, it excludes everything else that is not in that expression or definition. The evidence of this can be found in the legal definition of inclusio unis est exclusio alteris. The inclusion of one is the exclusion of another. The certain designation of one person is the absolute exclusion of all others. The word birth is often used to describe the emergence of a new entity. In law, nearly every entity that is birth falls under the jurisdiction of the legal system. When it comes to jurisdiction, the legal system only has jurisdiction over fictitious entities, which are legally dead entities. Because of all this, all living new babies that are birthed and registered to the state through the birth certificate are considered dead in the eyes of the law. One of the major reasons that they are presumed to be dead by the state is so that the government has the right to administer them. Remember, the government is a fictitious entity and thereby can only administer other fictitious dead entities. To secretly tell sheeple that they are dead in the eyes of the law, the agents of the government indoctrinate sheeple to celebrate their birthdays with cakes and candies. When it comes to corpses, candies are traditionally used to dispel the darkness so the spirits of corpses can find their way home. Candles, I'm sorry, not candy. This is one of the hidden reasons that they teach sheeple to light candles and stick them on cakes during birthday ceremonies. Every time sheeple light candles during their birthdays and stick them on a cake, their actions tell the dark forces, self-serving thought form entities, that they consent to be participants of the birthday ceremony, which is a ritual for celebrating the birth of a corpse or dead body. Wow, I did not know that, but that's true. We're doing a ritual on our birthday cake. Candles. The magic plasma. Let's see. During birthday ceremonies, many sheeple like to drink alcoholic beverages. What they do not know is alcohol is effective for weakening the connection to the true God that dwells within the temples of the dead, of their head. They did not call that area of the head the temples for no reason. Besides weakening their connection to God, alcohol also drains the life force energy. Alcohol is able to do this because it has the ability to extract the essence of an entity. This is why alcohol is an important substance for herbalists. With the aid of alcohol, herbalists can extract the essences of plants to make essential oils. Because of the exact extracting effect of alcohol, when sheeple drink enough to make them drunk, it can temporarily extract the essences of their souls, which contain their life force energies. This weakens their spirits, making their bodies more susceptible to being possessed by foreign spirits. After decades of working, partying, and drinking, sheeple's bodies cannot handle the stress anymore, causing them to die prematurely. After they die, their names are all written in all capital letters on gravestones to seal the deal and let other sheeple know that they are officially dead. What sheeple do not know is that shortly after their births, the government incorporated them, turning them into dead entities before they even learn how to say a word. It's often hard for sheeple to see the truth that they have been incorporated and thereby are corpses. So to make it easier for them to see the truth, let us investigate the legal document known as the writ of summons. When a court agent serves a sheeple a writ of summons, the first questions he asks them often is related to their legal name, which 99% of the time is written in all capital letters on court documents. For example, the court agent may ask them a question, "Are you John Henry Doe?" Most, if not all, sheeple would answer yes. By saying yes or responding with a similar answer by accepting the writ of summons, they basically agree to play the role of a dead character, which is the legal name, John Henry Doe. This occurs because the legal name is not living, but it is a fictitious entity that has no life force of its own. As a result of that, it is as dead as a fictional character in a storybook. The writ of summons is used to summon the dead, using sheeple as mediums. This is why a court agent has to serve them a writ of summons with their legal name on it before a judge can demand them to appear in court. To connect the dots, when sheeple accept a writ of summons, whether they realize it or not, they agree to raise the dead so they can play the role of a dead character. In other words, they agree to be zombies. What do witches do when they want to communicate with dead spirits? They summon them using certain magic spells. Do you understand now why it is called a writ of summons? The sheeple are also brainwashed and spiritually brain dead, that they are not even aware that they have been monetized and turned into dead entities so that they can be sold on the stock market by the traders of mankind. To make fun of them, the elite order their minions to create TV series and movies about zombies, such as The Walking Dead. In this TV series, the zombies represent the sheeple that do not even realize that they are legally dead. So-called zombie apocalypse is already here because the sheeple are, in a sense, the Walking Dead. It's time to wake up, sheeple, and stop acting like zombies. Grass is much greener on the side of the living. Boy, that was an interesting article. The sleeping sheeple. Thanks for coming to Plain Mundane Show. Please hit like, subscribe, ring the bell. Till I post another video, goodbye.